Welcome to the Soul Reader. The show will be starting in about 4 minutes and 30 seconds. So that's pretty cool. But if you're watching this in replay, you can fast forward right past this spot and get into the show. But if you're here live and you want to participate in the show, you want to talk to me, if you want to get a reading or if you don't want to get a reading, the easiest way to do that is when the QR code pops up. You just scan that with your phone and you'll be in the show. Also, there should be a link on Facebook and maybe YouTube also that you can click on, and that will bring you right into the show where you'll be on the stage and I will see you and you will see me and the audience will see you and the audience will see me and hear us. So, if you want to do that, you're more than welcome to. We have approximately 3 minutes and 30 seconds and the show will begin, so please stand by. And also, while you are patiently waiting, remember that we also have I'm Right, and that's every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. So check that out too. We've got about 2 minutes, and we'll get right into the show, and you'll see my smiling face. So please stand by. We have about 1 minute. In about 1 minute, you'll see me live and the show will get started. So please stand by. Hello. Here I am again. Here I am in the flesh. Here I am. My name's Anthony Cordova, Tony C, the man about love, and I am the soul reader. And welcome to all of you that are here this evening. Hi. Oh, this is nice. This is nice. Most of you are familiar with the show and familiar with me. Uh, but for those of you that don't know, I am a psychic, natural born empath. Most of you know what a psychic is. I'm mostly an empath where I feel your emotions. I can tap into your soul. So I don't read minds, but I really do feel who you truly are. Now, tonight is a special night because of the title of this show, partly. So, this is not goodbye. That's the title of the show. And what do I mean by that? I mean that this show is ending, even though I'm saying this is not the end. So I am going to stop doing this show. The website, knowtobestill.com, will still be there. You can check out the website and replays, and I may post some episodes that I had from last year. But the real deal is, I'm just wore out. I'm just wore out. But when I say this isn't goodbye, because Jill and I will still be doing I'm Right. So you'll be able to see me and Jill tomorrow night at 8 p.m. So we'll still be there with that. And I'm also still going to be doing Poetic People Fighting Racism. And that's still going to be every other Saturday. So the next Poetic People show is going to be on May 18th. But this is the only one that's going away. Now, that that's out of the way, I'll talk a little bit about making the decision to just stop doing the show. I did this show. I started this show because of a calling, because of my gifts. So with the gift I have, I'm able to feel things in people. So I'm able to help them with things they may be going to. Now, before I started doing this show, I used to do it in just my everyday life, which I will still do. So I'm going to kind of go back to doing that. So I won't be advertising to everyone that I am a empath. But when I see someone in need, in my case, feel someone in need, I will still approach these people that I feel. So I will still be doing the work that I'm supposed to be doing. Now, um, I also want us, and it took me a while to learn this also, to listen. Now, in the past, I always just pushed through. So no matter how tired I got, I just pushed through. If it meant I had to stay awake for 48 hours, that's what I would do. I would just push through. And all of that time, there is a voice always in here that I did not listen to that would just say, stop. You don't need to push through. Stop. So, what I'm saying is, when you feel something in your life And maybe at one time, this thing you were doing, whatever it was, maybe it was your job, maybe it was a school that your college you were attending, maybe it was a relationship that you had, and the relationship just started feeling not good. It's like something's not right. I'm not supposed to be doing this at this point in my life. So I listen to that voice. Um, it tells me that. Now you can decide what that voice is. I'm not going to tell you where that voice is coming from, but you can decide that. But a lot of times we just push it aside. Uh, is really I wasn't going to end this show until the 14th. And today I could clearly hear a voice in my head, and it wasn't mine, saying, end the show tonight, end the show tonight, end the show tonight. You're supposed to end the show tonight. So that's why it's tonight. I'm ending the show. So, and I don't feel bad about the decision. That's the other thing. When you listen to that voice that's telling you to do something that's contradicting what you think you should do, pay attention. Because whenever I do that, whenever I really pay attention to that voice, I am happy with the decision. Like I know I do not seem sad about ending this show. I did what I was supposed to do for the time I did it. And like I said, I am going to continue doing good work, the things I'm supposed to do with my gift. I'm still going to do that. Having a show is not going to change what I do. We, as people, are supposed to try to help one another. Now, you may not do it the way I do it, but there's many ways to help people. There's many ways to help your fellow human being. You can use whatever you have. It can be as simple as someone just needs a shoulder to cry on. It can mean when you ask a person, you see someone, oh, how you doing? But most of us don't really mean that when we say it. We just say, how you doing? But maybe the next time you say that, you really ask a person, really, how are you doing? I want to know, are you okay? Because all of us, even if we don't want to admit it, we can feel things about people. You may have a colleague or a coworker, and you just can feel that there's something different on this particular day. Maybe that particular day you ask, hey, how are you doing? Really? It doesn't take much to connect to our fellow human beings. It doesn't take much at all. Just a little effort on your part. Doesn't take much. Maybe you're at the grocery store and you see someone struggling. Maybe they're having a hard time loading their cart. Maybe they're having a hard time picking up an item that might be a little too heavy for them. Maybe they can't. You're looking and they don't know how to pick out fruit. Maybe you can help them. One time I was in a restaurant, like a fast food restaurant. And there was this woman, and she was trying to order some food for her family. Only she was really, really stressed out. And the reason she was stressed out is she had a baby in her arms, and the baby was crying. And then she had two little boys that were probably 4 or 5 years old. And they were wild. They were running, screaming, jumping, and she was totally stressed out. No one in the restaurant did anything except look. Some people looked, and you can see it on their face, and they're like, why doesn't she control those bratty kids? And see, I can feel that stuff from other people. So not only do I see it on their face, I feel what they feel. But instead of me doing the same thing, I walked up to her and I said, "Ma'am, I can see you're having a tough day. Can I help you? Can I, help you with your boys and, maybe keep them occupied while you try to handle the food, order the food? Can I carry your food for you to your car once your order comes?" It doesn't take much. The woman sincerely thanked me. Doesn't take much to help your fellow human being. Another story. And I've told this story once before. I can't remember whether it was on this show or Poetic People. But I was at an outlet mall in Ohio. And there was a family with three women, and one woman was in a wheelchair. And she had some weight on her. But when they tried to push her up the little handicap, little ramp by the curb, the bump was too big and the wheelchair toppled over. So she's on the ground. The other two women that were with her couldn't pick her up because she was too heavy. And I was probably, I don't know, 30 feet behind them when I saw it happen. And I must have seen within that 30 feet until I got up to them, I must have seen at least 15 people walk around her, step over from both directions. So people that were behind her walked around, stepped around, like, almost like she was invisible. I stopped and helped. I didn't ask for anything. I didn't want anything. Help your fellow human being. Make a difference. Now you may think, oh no, it doesn't matter. Somebody else will do it. No, you do it. And it does matter. Because all of these things that we do, that we ignore, or try to act like we didn't see, something that's wrong, and inside you know it's wrong. But you think no one sees that? And most of all, you see it. Most of all, you know, I really should have done something. I should have done something to help. Now, see, these situations I'm telling you isn't life or death. You were not going to get harmed, or the people that watch these situations, they weren't going to get harmed or shot or stabbed or robbed because of these situations. Help your fellow human being. This is what this show was about, The Soul Reader. I have the ability to help people in a way that other people cannot help them. I have a gift. I'm supposed to use it, and I'm going to keep using it. And there was a time where I did not want to use it. I didn't want to, because it's strange and it scares people. A lot of people are afraid to be around me when they know what I do. Some will say it, but most, I can feel them. I don't say anything, and I'm not going to say, oh, I can feel you're terrified of me. I don't say, oh, I know that you think I can read your mind, or that I can see all the evil deeds you do. No, I cannot. But I can feel a lot of that stuff. And I don't just call people out on stuff. That's not my place. I have given flowers to strangers because I could feel how much pain they were in. I have jumped in burning cars to save people. And once I get them out, I just leave. I'm not looking for anything in return. This is something I should do as a human being. I have stopped people from doing something that they shouldn't do, or go somewhere that they shouldn't go, because something bad may happen to them. Because those things I can feel sometimes also. So if I know something's going to happen and I don't say anything, that's a really horrible thing for me to do. So I will go back to saying the show is going away, but who I am, what I do, it's not going to change. When I have visions about situations, some situations I may say something, some situations it's not my place. I try to do no harm. But that's just me. And to me, that's my responsibility. So I think I've talked about that enough. And if anyone's there and wants to speak, this would be the time to do it. Otherwise, I'm going to end this show in a few. Jill, did you have something to say?
I have a question.
Yes.
I'll make it short. At the
Okay.
beginning of the show, you mentioned that the one of the reasons you're ending this show is because you heard a voice that wasn't your own and you listened to it.
Mm-hmm.
But I have learned from speaking to many people that it's often difficult for someone. We all have that inner voice that tells us to do or not to do something. So, what's your advice for people who find it difficult to listen to that voice because they don't understand why they would do that?
Okay. As usual, Jill, you ask really difficult questions. That's a loaded question.
Sorry. I had to get
So,
one more in before you ended the show.
so look, and I've said this before. It doesn't matter what your religion is. It doesn't matter whether you believe in God or not. These things don't matter for what I'm talking about. There is a higher power. I know because I've personally felt it. If you have listened to my show last season, this season, I have all this knowledge. And it's not because I studied. I was given this knowledge, like downloaded to me, for me, because this is what I'm supposed to be doing. People will ask me many questions, and my first thing was, oh, I don't know. And then I'll say, oh, wait a minute, I do know. So I say all that to say there is a voice, and we all hear it. We do. That voice when you were a child and you were getting ready to do something wrong, and you would hear a voice in your head say, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. But you ignore it. Because we've been taught to not listen to voices in our heads because, we might be crazy. This is what they tell us when we're young. This is what they tell us when we're old. Now you can say, oh, that's my self-conscious. Okay. Call it whatever you want. You might say, that's God. You might say that's my guardian angel. You might say that's my spirit guide. You might say that's my grandmother. You might say it's my grandfather. You might say it's my great grandfather. You might say it's Elvis. Okay? It doesn't matter. If the voice is telling you something that in your heart you know it's good, you know it's right, no matter what anyone else tells you. Think of how many times in your life you will say, I shouldn't do that. But your friend will say, oh, go ahead, it's okay. And then you do that certain thing and something really bad happens. It happens all the time. All you have to do is listen. Listen to that voice. Now, another question is, well, what does the voice sound like? Many people have described that voice differently. Like I said, some people say, oh, it's my deceased father. It could be. That voice can come from many places and sound different. Sometimes, for me, that voice sounds like a thought. Like when you think, what do your thoughts sound like? Think about that. But it's the way the voice speaks to me. It's someone else. This voice doesn't say, oh, I should do. When I hear it, it doesn't say, oh, I should do this or I shouldn't do that. No, it'll tell me what to do. And, the same way, I got a download of information in my head. There's a lot of stuff I do not know how I know. It's just in there. So I hope that answered your question, Jill.
It did. Thank you.
You're welcome. Alrighty. Let me see if I remember which buttons to press, because I'm going to end this show. This is the last show of The Soul Reader. And I'm okay. This is good. So, what do we have here? Like I said, I'm Right. We'll still be airing, no problem. That's every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern. And you can go to JillCoxCordova.com. Oh, I got it out. And click on the podcast tab. And you can also watch that on Facebook and YouTube. Yes, you can. And also, like I said, Poetic People Fighting Racism. I will still be doing that show. Something else I'm supposed to be doing. And the website will still be there, so you'll still be able to go to my website and check some stuff out. I'm going to try to start putting more stuff there. And that's notobestill.com/podcast. And that's every other Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. And the next show is on May 18th. So I really do love you all. I say that. I mean it. I don't say it in an empty way. I love you all. So till the next time I see you, which will be tomorrow night. And that's it for this show. You have seen the last one of The Soul Reader. Love you.